Good morning, little flower. Did you sleep well? Perhaps a little too well? I can't blame you, though. I had those silks imported from Elysia. They say it's the softest in all the world. Yes, that's me. But you don't have to call me Countess now. Not after what we've done. Oh, darling, are you all right? Apologies. I was only trying to be humorous. But I admit that was in poor taste. Please don't pinch yourself. Do you not remember? Thank goodness. And no, not a dream. Should I be flattered that you think so? Yes, I can imagine how palpable that relief must be. At the very least, you certainly weren't thinking about him last night. Oh, darling, I apologize. But the way you spoon is too adorable to refrain from teasing you so. Please don't hide your pretty face like that. It would be a travesty for such a thing of beauty to go unseen. Here, allow me. There we go. Such a good girl. Why ever would you want to hide? You know, when I first saw you last night, I happened upon you dismissing your fiancé with such disinterest. In that moment, you seemed so distant, with your aloofness draping you like a cloak. And now, it's so different to the timid little rabbit you are in front of me. Ah, my eyes are up here, darling. Don't think I haven't noticed. Your eyes keep darting to my mouth whenever I speak. And with the way your pulse speeds up. Is it too much of a dirty little secret for you to bear? I appreciate that you still find me attractive. You know, I've seen those bodice rippers over the years. The ones written about romances between damsels and monsters. They've depicted my kind to be so primal, honestly. Unless that is what you were hoping for. Because, my sweet, if that's what you'd like, then you'll have to wait. By Nix, you are such fun to tease. I suppose we've gone through things a bit backwards, but I do intend to court you, my little flower. I might be a vampire, But I'm not some wretched fiend who'll eat you up the second I get the chance. Although, the more you continue to look at me that way, the more I think you have no desire for proper courtship. But let me at least salvage what I can. Humor the romantic in me. Take, for example, this. Breakfast in bed. We have venison with frumenty and honey cakes for dessert. And let's not forget a warm chalice of hot chocolate. Oh, thank you. But that's not necessary. I can't eat the dishes I make, you see. Something about being a vampire makes everything other than blood taste like some sort of pungent soap. A shame, really. I was extremely fond of hot chocolate in my mortal life. But besides, I've already fed. Now, enjoy your breakfast while I finish drafting up a few documents. One of the benefits of not needing to sleep, I suppose. More hours to delegate towards noble duties. As for what I'm working on now, it's a few matters regarding the inheritance of my estate. Well, yes. I usually tend to ensure I get my affairs in order so as to avoid trouble for the future. But it's the names that are the most tedious to keep track of. Are you all right? No, my little flower. I'm not planning on passing away anytime soon. If that is what you're trying to phrase so delicately. Yes, I am writing a will. But no, I am not dying. While I can enchant mortals to not question my strangeness, that only works if they visit my abode. It does not apply to those out of my reach. One of the shortcomings of being a vampire, I'm afraid. If I solely relied on my guests to spread the word, things might end up going awry. One phrase misspoken to the wrong person, one misunderstood story. I wouldn't be surprised if it would lead to my royally decreed death at the stake. So, darling, I ask you this. What is more effective than a rumor? A bit more violent than I was intending, my sweet. Though that could be a last resort, I suppose. But what I mean is paperwork. Imagine this. The poor unfortunate maiden who'd been shackled to the Count became a widow upon the ever so tragic death of her husband. No child was ever born of their union, and so inheritance of the estate would have gone to his closest living male relative, which, in his case, was his brother, who had been as equally smarmy as he. Now, legally, at the time, I was protected by dower's rights. As his widow, I was entitled to a life interest in the form of 1/3 of the old bastard's lands. But truly, how could I accept that? I had no interest in 1/3 of his property. I wanted it all. Back then, the inheritance laws explicitly focused on the male line. And it just so happened that I had been growing accustomed to the strengths being a new vampire afforded me. All I had to do was ask my dear old brother-in-law to request for an audience with the king and take me with him. If it hadn't been for my little whispered suggestion, all inheritance would be decided by men. Well, yes. I'd wager adding the stipulation regarding a matrilineal line was one of my best works. Because of that clause, my possession of this title and estate is, in essence, eternal. And if anyone were to look into my background, all they'd find is a very comprehensive record of female descendants, dating all the way back to when I originally gained control of the estate. But yes, once I decide this identity does not serve me any longer, all I own will be given to my next of kin, which, of course, will be myself. In truth, I'm still thinking about who to bequeath it to. My current self inherited it as the estranged niece of the previous Countess. Maybe this time I'll leave it to a daughter I'd sent away as a babe. Who knows? Oh, yes. Several noblemen over the years have tried, but I'll be damned if I let them get what they wanted. Is there something else you'd like to ask me, darling? Could it be more awkward than my admitting to crimes that could have me sent to the gallows? Then tell me. I've never been much of a singer, but I'm glad it was soothing enough for you. You jest. You don't have to flatter me, you know. Anyone could do it. Old lullabies, mostly, from my childhood. Oh, that one. I don't remember much of it, I'm afraid. But I know it went something like this. Lilting songs, riddles in the sky. Da 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 tide, where monsters roam and creatures da 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 da. If they ever met you, hiding away, because it hurts to remember, drowning and da 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 behind, because it hurts to recover. Da 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 da, haven't time, and that's all I can remember for that one. But I'm glad you like it. You know, my mother used to tell me she learned her lullabies from an angel. Such a silly thing. She wasn't always the best mother to me, but there still were moments. I don't remember their faces anymore, you know? I can still recall my mother singing and the shine in her hair, my father's laughter and the twinkle in his eye. But even those are slowly fading. That's what they don't tell you about being immortal. Your body remains the same, but the mind you had back then, when you were alive, my memories as a human feel like fragments now. I know I can still feel. I know I can still enjoy life. Be the hedonistic countess the entire town believes me to be. But sometimes I wonder, is this just temporary? Once I fully forget my human self, would I become what they say vampires are? An unfeeling demon wearing a human corpse that should have been decayed thrice over. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I must have ruined your appetite. What with all the depressing things I've been saying. I can take my leave, if you'd like. Just to allow you some peace. I'm sorry. This was ungracious of me as a hostess. Pardon? Well, no. I really hadn't thought about it in so long. It's something I try not to pay any mind to. Maybe that's why I throw all the parties that I do. to feel and to enjoy everything at once, so that if the day ever comes that I find myself feeling nothing, then I would have had an existence well spent. To know I had made the best of what time I had, that I had formed good memories. I put on a front as some light-hearted socialite with not a care in the world, but I'm scared all the time. Of myself, most of all. Of what I might become and when. Has this soured your opinion of me? No, of course not. I never thought any less of you. It's not your fault that those things happen to you, sweetheart. But your case is different, and Oh. Well, thank you. That is kind of you to say. It feels strange to think that only last night it was I comforting you. Now here we are. Thank you, really, for listening, and for not running the moment I told you what I was. And what idea is that, darling? Well, I had initially intended on planning an outing for us both, but it appears you have outrun me in this matter. I am without complaint, of course. What did you have in mind? I'd like that very much.